Hey everyone, welcome to the PFF Betting Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Valenzuela, joined as always with me, Ben Brown, and we have Eric Eager on the podcast. So you know it's going to be a good one. We are going to quickly recap the Monday football games and preview our rare Tuesday games as well, and really break down some bowl games for you guys here today. So let's get into it. Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets if they score. You score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Don't want to give you guys the opportunity to break down yesterday's games because they were so terrible. But I'll let you guys say your piece if you want. I know you guys love Kirk Cousins, so whatever you guys need to get off your chest, I feel like we can do here.
I mean, I'm just like a little bit upset that, the Bears ended up, this is the second time in like a calendar year that the new rule that like you can't kick an extra point after the game hits double zeros, that like messed up a cover for them because they were +7 at close. They scored like this meaningless touchdown at the end. Like that kind of tilted me. But both games sucked. I mean, at least we had the under in that game. And I know a lot of people like Brad Spielberger, our buddy, were like, the Bears have no defenders. I'm going to hammer the over. And like the market did take the over from 44.5 to 47. And I was a little nervous. I bet a decent amount of, like, the funniest thing, I bet Justin Jefferson over 96.5 yards, and Kirk himself did not get that number throwing to all the Vikings receivers combined. So that was ugly. Hopefully today we'll see something. Kendall, your Seattle Seahawks 7-point dogs to the Rams. Yeah. And then the Washington football team against Philadelphia. Hopefully we'll see some more fireworks. Yeah. Hopefully
we'll see. We can. So there's not a ton of props out there right now, right? We tried to push this podcast as long as we could, and there's just not a ton out there. So with what I want you guys to do, maybe we can start with the Eagles and Washington football team, is maybe break down what you're watching in this game. And if you guys are watching any props, maybe give us what you're looking at.
So this is going to be, I'm more excited about the second game here coming up on Tuesday night. I do like Seattle, LA. I think that's a much more intriguing matchup. Washington football team, I don't know what to make of them. I do think they are the most impacted by COVID. Probably still they have been throughout this week 15 slate. So really nervous about the product that they're going to be putting on the field. PFF doesn't really show any, I guess we do show a little bit of value on Washington right now. I don't know. I'm not overly comfortable backing the football team. What do you think, Eric? Are you on any side of the, spread or total in this matchup or not?
I on the forecast, I said, bet these games at sort of your own risk. I think that's, there's so much uncertainty here. If we show value on all three side total money line, like there might just be a little bit of information that we're not privy to that, like, for example, like we don't know if any of these COVID players are going to emerge.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Like I would probably just, in game might work. Like if you're watching that Oakland versus Cleveland game, and they're still Oakland to me after that game. If you're watching Oakland, Cleveland, and you're like, okay, this game's under, then just pound the live under, right? Like you can pretty much like watch that game and be like, okay, this game, or you watch like, Fields and the Vikings. It's like, that game's going under, and
right.
you can, go in and pound that and really make some money there. Pre-game, it's like, I know the limits are higher and everything, but there's so much uncertainty. Once you're in the game, like a lot of that uncertainty goes away.
Okay, I like it. And you mentioned my Seattle Seahawks are playing the Rams, and I just don't know what to make of the Seahawks right now. And I almost always want to cover my face like Eric does when he has news that he's reading. But with the win, the Rams can pull even with the Cardinals in the top spot in the NFC West, and the Seahawks, I guess, could keep playoff hopes alive, which is just kind of gross to say. What are both of your expectations in this game, Eric? I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So we calculated it out. If the Rams and the Cardinals finish with the same record, the Cardinals win the tiebreaker no matter what. It's kind of weird to say with 3.5 games left, depending on who you root for. But that's the case. So for the Rams to win the NFC West, they have to basically clear Arizona by a game. But Arizona's just lost to Detroit. So it's very possible the Rams get the Vikings next week. And so there's winnable games left there. So I expect them to be pretty motivated here. With Seattle, I don't know. The thing is it all coming to an end for Seattle? Do we get an effort like we saw last night for the Bears, which is the head coach is he knows he's about to be fired. And then, he gives kind of an effort that's not necessarily I don't know, but I think Russell Wilson probably still wants to play well. And he does have good receivers. The defense is better than people believe. And the Rams are banged up. The Rams have some COVID stuff. So I expect this game to be close. And if I had to pick a side, I think I'd take Seattle.
Yeah. I'm actually with you on that. I do think Seattle +7 is a decent play. Cause like you said, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to, not try basically all the way to the end of the game. We have seen them kind of do some backdoor covering in previous seasons, kind of given the fact that they are finally opening up the offense if they are down 2 touchdowns. So even if they get down a little bit heavy early, I do think they're a spot to potentially play in game. And I also think they'll probably be live at +7, getting past that, that touchdown differential. So I like Seattle here a little bit. I'm kind of interested in the total. I feel like I don't really want to back any overs in either one of these matchups, given what we saw yesterday with the product on the NFL field. But I do think maybe, over 46.5 in this game is definitely a decent spot as well. Obviously that will impact some things in the player prop market. So I do think, Cooper Kupp, obviously we're going to see him, continue to get the target volume that is basically unprecedented in the 2021 NFL season. So maybe his reception over is hopefully a spot that the player props tool is going to like once we get some of those numbers out. I do think, kind of like what Eric said, Seahawks do have really good receivers if they are playing from behind. Maybe, a guy like DK Metcalf could potentially go over, but other than that, I'm leaning heavily probably on, the unders from a rushing perspective for both running backs. If we get some of those lines, probably, under on Russell Wilson's rushing yardage prop as well. We'll see. But I think one that our player props tool will like is if we get Russ Wilson at a pretty decent plus price for under 0.5 interceptions. I think that's probably going to show value. I don't know if I feel overly confident in playing that one though here on Tuesday night, I guess.
Russell Wilson not cooking.
Not
Russell Wilson getting takeout like Eric said last week. I don't know. The Seahawks, you guys have more faith in the Seahawks than I do, but that's, I guess, because I'm a sad Seahawks fan. But you're right. Lockett is questionable, right? Because with the COVID stuff. So the Seahawks might be, if he doesn't play, they'll obviously be more likely to feed DK Metcalf. But that also might not be a good thing because he's playing through injury right now. He was held out of practice a couple days this week. But it could break right for the Seahawks. They play those dirty, weird games where they play hard against these teams. So we'll see how it goes. But I kind of want to get into bowls with you guys too. I know there's a few bowl games today on Monday or Tuesday and a one on Wednesday, couple Thursday. So what are you guys liking on these two? Let's start with the Tuesday slate of bowls.
Yeah, I think,
go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say Kent State, I think, is the solid play here to start Tuesday night quite well. I think it moved up basically from a field goal differential out to 3.5. Also like the under in that game quite a bit. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit of a sweat, but I do think both Kent State plus 3.5 Under 59 seems like, a really good spot to be on both sides of that. Maybe a dog under parlay to start off the bowl games. Ooh. But I do like that one.
What a privilege that was.
Quite a bit. What a privilege. What a privilege. So that's kind of what I'm leaning. I think that might be my favorite bet all day is Kent State, though.
Okay.
Yeah. You look at Dustin Crum. I mean, he's been in college football. I mean, he went to college longer than Van Wilder, I think. But I think this is his last game. 106 passer rating when clean, 5%, big time throw rate. The Wyoming quarterbacks have been nothing short of a disaster. But Wyoming runs the football. So Here's the thing, like why under is the play. It's that Kent State runs the ball 52% of the time. And Wyoming runs the ball 55% of the time. Wyoming is the favored team right here. And Wyoming is negative EPA, both running the football, and they do that a lot, and passing the football. Kent State's great at both, right? So like the handicap is, Kent State, for example, 0.11 EPA per run play, 0.08 EPA per pass play. So if they control the game, I think the under has a harder shot of hitting. But if Wyoming, who is the favorite and theoretically the team that's going to control the game, if they control the game, then I think under is the play. So that's kind of like a weird little handicap there. I do agree with Ben. I think Kent State is the better of the two bets. I think under is, a fine play as well. But to me, I don't know why you're getting plus 3.5 Kent State. If you look at it, I mean, Dustin Crum is playing. They have some other players. I think, I believe like Quintez Cephas's brother plays for Kent State, and he's actually quite good. So it's a spot where I really do think you can back Kent State. And we backed them all year. We had their season win total over, and they cleared it by 2 wins.
Right.
Love that. I love that for us. Again, a privilege. Bowl season is a privilege all season. So what about Missouri, the Missouri Tigers Army? I think you guys like the under.
Yeah, this one's counterintuitive because I gotta say, like, I think the three of us could make an offense to run the ball against Missouri this year. They're like one of the worst, run defenses. The SEC was absolutely like Vanderbilt was getting yards on them. I think that's a joke. I don't remember if they actually played Vanderbilt, but it would have actually happened. And obviously we've seen the Army Black Knights, how well they run the football. But at the same time, it's a similar argument with respect to pace. Missouri's not a great offense. I know Ben and I had Beaslak in DFS a number of times.
Too many
disappointments. And that's an issue, right? That's an issue because they don't, they're negative EPA, both running and passing. Army has a great defense. They actually have Andre Carter's son, Andre Carter II, who's an actual like draftable player on the edge for them. And then, the pace, right? They go for fourth downs, which can often be good for unders because it extends drives and drains clock and doesn't put points on the board half the time. And so that's why you've seen our model like under, but it's also why you've seen a lot of sharp people. So our friend Rufus Peabody, who's a professional bettor, he's been on under here at the open of 59.5. Now you're seeing it 56.5. So the market certainly agrees with this play. At 56.5, you're looking at that key number, right? It's a number divisible by 7 at 56. So I think you have to grab that before it gets underneath the full 56.
Nice. Ben,
I'm on board with it 100%. I agree. I don't mind Missouri on the money line, obviously plus, 5.5 situation. You're not really going to back them on the spread. Green line does show a little bit of value on the money line. Obviously, battle tests coming out of the SEC have shown a little bit at certain points. I know at least enough for us, like Eric said, to kind of buy into Basilek in DFS a few times. So maybe, they could be sneaky here, potentially shut down Army's Russian attack. I know we have them, I guess like 112th in the nation in run defense so far here in 2021. So it might not be that likely of a scenario, but I do think that, the play, if you're going to back something on the spread or money line, probably, Missouri plus 175, one of those spots I do think is at least likely enough to happen. I think 36.6% break-even percentage. We have it just a little bit higher than that. So if you're feeling, a little bit more frisky here, maybe take Missouri out of the SEC. That could potentially win outright against Army. So
love it. Only things you hear on this podcast is this kind of breakdown. Yeah. But Eric, while I have both of you guys here, it's been a weird week. We had 2 games yesterday. We have 2 games today. I want to get your outlook for week 16 because we've got games Thursday, we've got games Saturday and Sunday. So I want to see what you're looking at. And it's kind of weird for a couple teams, like the Rams and Vikings play each other on Sunday and they've got short rest. Same with the Browns play the Packers on Saturday. So what are you kind of looking at with all those games coming up?
Yeah, it's weird. Like the Vikings played on Monday Night Football, but they're not going to be the team with the shorter rest the following week. That's a relatively new phenomenon. So yeah, that's tricky. I mean, the US Bank Stadium is generally a hard place to play. The Rams, have, as you said earlier, a lot to play for. Presumably it will be 10-4 after tonight's game. The Vikings, they have a date here with the Rams and at Green Bay. They have to win one of those games to make the playoffs because then they go to the Bears there. I don't think it's going to be good enough for them to go 8-9 with a win against the Bears after 2 losses here. So that it's not a must win for the Vikings, but I have a hard time seeing them go to Lambeau Field and win in week 17. So it's going to be a big one for them. To me, and I'll actually be at this game because, why not? Ravens at Bengals, obviously, after the Browns kind of pissed that opportunity down their leg on Monday night against the Oakland Raiders. This is for all the marbles here, right? Yeah. If the Ravens go into Cincinnati and win, all the talk about their 4th down decisions, the 2-point conversion decisions, all that nonsense, that's moot, right? They win the AFC North. I don't think they're a great team. I think they'll have a hard out. They'll have a hard time getting by the first round of the playoffs, but you're winning the division. And whereas if the Bengals win, then they have a sweep against the Ravens. They basically bury Baltimore there. They have another date with Cleveland, I believe. And then, that's their first division title since 2015. So that's a humongous game. That's one you want to keep your eyes on. And then Christmas night, Colts at Cardinals. I think that's a really good game, right? Colts are a team that they don't have games like the loss the Cardinals had with the Lions. They're just a solid team. But the upside is nowhere near as high as what the Cardinals can provide. So what game do you get there between those 2 teams? That'll be interesting. I don't know if I can even bet that one, but I'm just I'm excited to see what the outcome ends up being.
Love it. Ben, any that you're looking at that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like Eric said, the AFC North matchup, Ravens, Bengals. I did write up Bengals at plus 2,500 to win the AFC North early on in the 2021 season. So might be a little bit of a hedging opportunity with Baltimore on the money line there. So I'm definitely tuning into that one. I got to figure out the exact way to play that approach. So if you listened, read that article, we can definitely get in contact. We can definitely figure out the best approach to kind of make some money off that opportunity. And then, Bills, Patriots, Sunday afternoon might be a pretty quality game. I do think, Bills obviously took care of business against the Panthers here in week 15. Patriots on a little bit of rebound. That, I think has some AFC East implications still if the Bills can actually end up winning out in that matchup. So definitely interested. I do think week 16 is shaping up to be a pretty solid slate here and hopefully make up for a little bit of this week 15 nonsense that we had happening.
I was going to say, it can't be worse than what we just watched.
If Dolphins Saints get help, during the week, that Monday night game might actually have some implications too. Both teams at 7-7 coming off of big wins. And in fact, the Dolphins on a 6-game winning streak. So
nice. I love it. And you're going to the Bengals game. That's fun after Christmas. I love that for you. My dad asked if I wanted to go to the Seahawks Bears game. And I really did have to think about that for a second because I was like, do I want to go see that? But I think I do. So I think I might go to that one.
Should. Yeah. You only get so many chances to go to games.
Exactly. And with Russell Wilson, who might not be there next year. So it'll be fun. But Eric, thank you so much for joining. Ben, as always, everyone, pff.com/betting. That's where you can find all of these great player props tools, all of Ben Brown's articles. And thank you so much for listening.